Welcome to the CSS Text Styling topic video. Our objectives here, we've got a bunch of basic things that we'll be able to do with text. Okay, change the color, change the size, change the font. Then we have things we have to understand. How fonts work with the web. How can we deal with different platforms and computers that may not have the fonts we want? We'll do that via something known as the font stack. How do we style, weight, transform, decorate text, space lines, all sorts of stuff. Okay. Now the idea isn't to remember all these things, but to know that you have the ability to do this so you can look things up. Basically, anything that you can do with a good word processor, any styling you can do with a good word processor, you can do that and more via CSS. Okay? You may have to look things up, may have a different name, etc., etc. Okay? But that's the basic idea. So we're just going to do some simple stuff here and exercise some of our other CSS knowledge using some simple selectors. Okay, so read the fundamentals of text and font styling. How can we change the color of the text? Okay, so let's start with some HTML. Now, how do I want to demonstrate this stuff? I think, let's take a look. Let's go to practice temp. I have a temp. Let's create new text document temp dot markdown. Markdown, professor? Yes. Why? Because Markdown, with Markdown, I can put HTML in it. Okay? I'm allowed to put HTML in the Markdown. Okay? So that's our example HTML. How am I telling these different paragraphs apart? Okay, I want to apply different colors to these different paragraphs. How am I telling them apart? They're all paragraphs. In this case, I'm giving them classes. We have other mechanisms that we'd actually use if we cared about the first paragraph, the second paragraph, the third paragraph, getting certain color schemes and such like that. That's an advanced selector. Here, we're just practicing with class selectors, okay? So I'm not saying this is the recommended practice if you're trying to do tiger stripes like in the table. No. But we're illustrating with the selectors we know. So we have those. We have a bunch of paragraphs in this section, okay? And we gave them classes. We're going to use a class selector, okay, which has a dot, then the class name, okay? Then we're going to set the color attribute. This is the color attribute, sets the color of the text. Why not text color? Why not color text as the name of the attribute? Don't know. That's why if you don't remember these things, know that you can look them up. Okay, so let's copy this over. Okay, notice it's in the style block. Okay, so I'm going to take that block, not there. Here, I'm going to add this style to this document. Wow, look at that. I colored things. Did they get colored the way I want? The paragraph with class first got styled with a color named aqua. Okay. The second paragraph got colored green. Oh, I can't tell if that's green. Is there a dark green? Dark green? No. Second. Okay. What about me? It doesn't look green to me. Third color is dark red. That kind of looks like a red to me. So, what have we learned? Simple class-based selectors to differentiate items, the same elements with the same tags. We had 3 paragraphs. We gave them different classes. Then we could apply this color property. Okay. And we also learned that greens and reds can be hard to tell the difference. Okay. That just doesn't look green to me. It looks black. Maybe I misspelled green. G-R-E-E. Oh, did I? Look carefully for the error. What's that? A colon and not a semicolon. What does CSS do on errors? That is an error. It ignores the command. It ignores the property. It didn't know what it was saying. It doesn't make any noise about it because, okay. Whew. Now that looks green to me now. If you're colorblind, sorry. Okay, but it definitely didn't look black. Okay, or I wasn't specifying black there. Okay, so you caught me with an error in my code. Fonts. What are fonts? Okay, fonts are what characters look like. Okay, that's a bad definition. But you've used fonts before, okay, in various things, okay. Font families. So let's take a look at some different types of fonts. Now this is Google Fonts, and you'll see each of these different things are examples of a different style of font. Some are very subtly different. This one's narrower, okay. This one's different, okay. This font is much different than, say, this font. This one is what we call a serif font. This is a sans serif font. Okay, regardless of what they're called, okay, they give your text a different look. Okay, on top of the font, we can apply things like italics or a slant. We can make things bolder or less bold. But the basic look of what we're seeing for the text is given by the font. Okay, this is not a class on typography. Okay, let me just check to make sure I'm not, okay. When a list of fonts is given to the browser will try each named font in order to see if it's available on the system. Okay, different computers come with different fonts installed on them. So Macs, Windows machines, Linux machines, etc. come with fonts installed. Okay. Different programs will specify a different font. Okay, so I'm looking at these slides. What happens if that font isn't available on the system? Well, in the case of the web pages, you give a list of fonts with your preferred font first, and the next, and the next, and the next. Let's see how that works. Okay, so here's a font family example. Here, we've got a bunch of 4 paragraphs. Instead of using a class to differentiate them, I'm going to use, an ID. Okay. Is this best practice? No. Okay. There's ways of, once again, if we want to just go by order, this is the first thing, this is that, etc. There's other fancy selectors to use. This is just an example, so we can try styling different paragraphs. Okay, so I got to copy that and go and place it in. We'll place it in my Markdown document for previewing. Okay, so we're getting the default here on the paragraphs, fonts that are on the paragraphs. Now let's take a look at the some CSS. So let's see, we got some CSS that says the font size, which we're going to learn about in a second. We're going to make it a little larger for everything in the section. This one's going to use a font family called sans serif. This is going to use something called Bauhaus. This is going to use Courier New. This one has a whole list of fonts, or a font stack. Okay, Gaudi, old style, Garamond, big Caslon. Okay, let's copy that. Okay, so that's the idea of a font stack, a list of fonts. Okay, copied that. That stuff wasn't in the style thing, so let's make a style thing. Style. Paste. Ooh, look at this. What font is used here? What about me? What about me? What about me? So the first one got a sans serif font. Next one got the Bauhaus, and I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. This one gets Courier New, which I know is kind of a typewriter-like font. And down here we're getting one of these, depending on which one's on my system. Okay. Fonts. So we can specify the font family. Okay. Font family. We'll learn about font weight in 2 seconds. There's some default font names. Serif, sans serif, monospace, cursive, and fantasy. Okay. Those are going to be usable on any system. You don't know for sure what it's going to look like, but it should have the characteristics of a monospace, which is like what we use for in our editors and code when we're dealing with plain text. Serif is the type of font that has, this is the serif font. It's got the little things on it. Okay. A sans serif font is like what you're seeing here. Okay. Generally, if you have lots of text, it used to be said that serif fonts were easier for people to read, okay, versus sans serif fonts. Sans serif fonts are used in presentations for a cleaner look. Okay, there is a website that will tell you how to arrange your font stacks to get fonts that'll look similar across different systems. Okay, so, and mostly we're talking about Windows and Macs and such like that. Okay, you're not going to really have to worry about that kind of compatibility in the course, but on the job, you may need to know that this type of things exist. Okay, so keep that in the back of your head. Okay, how do we specify the font size? Pixels is a unit, kind of an absolute value-ish thing. Okay, that used to be really true, but now with the super high resolution displays, not quite. It's kind of a unit. Okay, pixels. Font size units. 1em, so the unit is called em, lowercase, is equal to the font size set on the parent element of the current element we are styling. Okay. More specifically, the width of the capital letter M contained inside the parent element. Okay. So what does that say again? The font size set on the parent element. Oh, so I've got stuff that's sitting within a document, and the document's got its font size set at a certain thing. I set something to M, okay, relative to that. If I'm in a subsection, a section of the within the document, that's got a font size set. This will, if I use M units, it'll be relative to that. Okay. Rem units? What's that then? They work like M units, except the rem unit is equal to font size set on the root element of the document, i.e. the HTML element, not the parent element. Okay, sounds a little confusing. So what do you do when you get confused? You try an example. Okay, so yet another, here's an example. This time I went back to using classes, use different class names. Okay, let's copy that over. So here's some paragraphs. What font size is used here? Let's see. Nice. Why am I doing that? I got copy. Copy. And paste. Okay. It's not working. Why didn't it work? Oh, this has to be in a style element. Okay. Whoa, what's going on here? What does the style say? HTML, the HTML element, which means the root element, is going to get a teeny tiny 10 pixel font size. The section element, here, is going to get a font size 2.5 times bigger, 25 pixels. Okay, so what font size gets used in this paragraph here? This paragraph is sitting within the section. This property that we're looking at, the CSS property of font size, is inherited, so what we're seeing right here is a 25 pixel font size. P2, paragraph P2, with class P2, gets a font size of 2M. So this is going to be twice the size of its containing element, its font size. So here we are in class P2, contained in the section. The section got a font size of 25, so this is going to be 50 pixels. Okay. P3, class P3, okay, what does it get? A font size of 2 rem, not M. So 2 times the font size of the root element. Where's the root element? Oh, HTML is the root element. So 2 times 10 pixels, it's going to get a font size of 20. That's why this guy's a little bit smaller than this guy. Okay, so this guy is a little bigger, he's 25 pixels. This guy's 20 pixels in size. Finally, way down in poor old paragraph class P4, he gets a font size of 1 rem, not M. What happened to it? Oh, it gets nice and big if it's M, but he gets 1 rem. Okay, and that means he's set at the same size of the font as the roots element, which is HTML. He gets to be 10 pixel font size. We will generally use M's and rems to size fonts. Okay, we generally won't give things specific sizes. We'll always do it based on whatever is established for the document. Okay, and stuff like that. Okay, so 3 different types of units. Pixels, an absolute unit. M's, which are based on their parent. Okay, so class P's parent element is section. Okay, based on the parent class's size. Rems are based on the root element size, which we don't have specified here. You don't see the HTML element here, but we did specify what it gets here. Okay, pretty neat. Okay, so that's how you can size things relative to each other. Okay, so when a user comes over here and starts hitting the plus button and the whatever, everything adjusts as it should, plus and minus buttons. What else can we do? Font style. Font style. Oh, we can set fonts to normal, italic, oblique. I've never used oblique. Okay. We can set font weights. Okay. Text transform. Well, this isn't terribly useful without an example. Let's go hack a web page. Here we go. Let's hack this web page. Okay, see this paragraph? I opened up my developer tools. Okay, so I'm going to come in here. And what did we say? Font style? No, yeah. Sorry, forgot what we said. Text styling. Font style. Let's mess with this guy's webpage. Okay, down in here. Okay. Font. Oh, let's make this easier to see. Font size, let's mess with them. Okay, how about 2M? Whoa, that's nice and easy to see. Ha ha ha. This makes it look like this guy's an old guy can't see very well, and oh wait, I am. Never mind. Okay, what were we going to try? Oh, font style. Let's try italic. Ooh, everything's nice and slanted. Okay, what other? Oh, look. There's a whole set of values here. Oblique. Does it do anything? Kind of. Kind of looks a little different than italic. Okay, so let's go italic. Oh, what was the other one to try? Oh, let's go with font weight. Font weight. Ooh, should we go with, let's try lighter first. $100. One. Let's try bolder. Doesn't seem too different. Font weight, bold. There. That looks good. What about bolder? Bold looks pretty good. Well, we've messed this guy up pretty good. Ha ha ha. Wait, that's my site. We're messing with my own site. Font style. Okay, so we did font style. We tried font weight. Numeric boldness values that provide fine-grained control than the above keywords if needed. Why didn't that work for us? Try it one more time. Go to networking. Okay. We said bold. Try 100. Try 900. Ooh, okay. That seems boldy bold. I'll go to 500. Oh, look at that. We can turn off the italic. Cool. Text styling, what else can we do? What else can you do? Text transform. We can turn things all to uppercase. We can capitalize each of the first words. Ooh, let's try some of that. Okay. So text transform. Text transform. Lowercase. Everything went to lowercase. But there weren't too many. Let's try a different value. Oops. Upper. Wow, that's really obnoxious. That seems like he's one of these guys who just learned to text. It's like something from the 90s. Oh, terrible. Okay. That person isn't going to get too many customers. Let's see. So we did uppercase. Ooh, capitalize. I'll let you try capitalize. Text decorations. Let's try it. Corrado networking. Text decoration. Let's see. Line. Let's see if we want an overline. Overline. I've never tried that. Hard to tell if it's an overline or underline until we get here. How about line through? Yeah, let's X this guy out. Ah, there. There, a thing of beauty. Text styling. Okay, more than you could ever want to know. So let's get hands-on. We did. What else can we do? We can affect the layout of the text. Oh, we can align things. Center the text, justify the text. Left, right, justify. Let's try all those. Okay, let's get rid of the font weight, get rid of the text transform, get rid of the text decoration for now. Font size, let's go 1.5 M. There, that's more reasonable. What we're going to try? Oh, text align. What kind of alignment does this look like we're getting? It looks like we're getting left. Okay, so let's try text align center. Oh, look at that. Each line is kind of centered in here. Not terribly pretty. Right. Ah, nice edge over on the right-hand side, rough edge on the left. So the default for the language we're using is left centered. Left. Okay. What does justify look like? Justify. It changes the spacing in between to make things look all precise on each edge. Problem is with that, if your window gets narrow, you start seeing some extremes as far as spacing between things. Not a problem when you have lots of text because they just add and subtract a bit of spacing. Okay, but if you don't have too many words on a line, you start seeing like small spaces and really big spaces. Okay, so the dangers of justified text. Okay, what else can we do? What else can we do? Okay, line height. Ah, remember you had to make a 2-page essay? So what did you do? You made sure you said line height. Let's go 3. Triple spacing. Look at how spread out that is. Isn't that nice? Takes up lots of room. I don't have to write nearly as much to fill out that essay. Or we can go with double spacing. Or we can go with single spacing. Ooh, that's looking crowded. Or we can drive people absolutely nuts and go like, have it smashed together. Oh, I hate it when people do that. It's really hard to read. Okay, so that's a quick overview of text styling. Okay, I recommend the readings to get even more information on text styling. Okay, and one other thing I didn't mention, it's not just Google fonts where you can go find a bunch of fonts that you can use on your web page. These are known as web fonts. There's other places, Rostype, which is a pretty cool place. I think it's centered either in Mexico or Latin America. Okay, these are free fonts. These are open source free fonts. Then there's another cool one, which is the League of Movable Type. And you can see the problem with this stuff is you can spend forever. Okay, this becomes an art thing. Selecting good fonts to use on a page. You don't want to go overboard, but you want to use you want nice branding for a website. It's definitely an art thing. It's definitely a different skill set than our programming skills thing, but it's fun. Okay, get cool things, and I just noticed these guys have a podcast, so I think I'm going to subscribe to that to learn more about fonts and types. All right, folks, a quick overview of text styling.